right, so I'm forming a loaf, just like a bread loaf.
Well, that's also interesting. You have it in a shallow pan.
I do, and I'm going to show you in a second why I do that. I'm tucking under. All right, now we talked about beef, veal, and pork for fat, flavor, and texture. And now, of course, I don't want to be a cliche of television, but we will add some more fat, some more pork to it. Millions of people do this at home.
Are you influenced by Paula by any chance?
By what's that?
By Paula with all the fat.
Paula Dean's is sweet. I've actually, every chef loves fat. Millions of people ask me, not millions, I don't know millions of people, but people ask, why does a steak taste better in a restaurant? Why do certain things taste better in restaurants? Because we add fat to it. I brush steaks with butter before I serve them. That's why they taste, a little better. And anyone can do that. Anyone can add that in.
Fat means flavor, right?
It does, and then that's, if you want to eat healthy, that's great. My wife and I, we eat a lot of grains, a lot of vegetables at home. But when I go out, I want a steak, and I want them to put butter on it if I'm going to pay that money. All right, we're going to take this over the oven. I'm going to show you a couple things that we do differently with a little bit. Mike, could you just grab me a small bowl of water? All right. I got a 325-degree oven. It's a little lower than most, but I'm slow and low. I like to cook real slow and get it the way I want it. I'm putting a pan under here for two reasons. One, I want to catch the drippings because I'm using a shallow pan. Don't want to start a fire in my oven. And the other reason is I put water down here. Just like if I'm baking bread at home or something like that, I'll put about 1.5 cups, 2 cups of water in the bottom pan there, and that'll add more moisture to the air, not letting it sink down into itself, and it'll create a little bit of I think, a better product. And it's a simple step by just adding a little bit of water to that shallow pan on the bottom.
Great trick for today.
There's two types of people who eat meatloaf in this world. There's gravy and there's ketchup people. I'm a ketchup guy. At the stadiums, you can get gravy, but it comes with ketchup. Wet rag under a cutting board always. Saves it from sliding around. You don't hurt yourself, especially when you're using a knife. This is from that same can of Chipotles we talked about earlier. I've taken one Chipotle out. I don't want to drain the sauce. I want the sauce, but I've taken one out. These are extremely spicy. They're the kind of things where you cut and then you go rub your eye and you hate yourself for the next half an hour. But I'm going to take one and I'm going to try to get that sauce out here.
You also mentioned you could puree that ahead of time.
You could, and I just didn't break the RoboCoupe out. But Cuisinart, you could throw it in and bang it out that way, an immersion blender. But I'm an egocentric chef, so I want to use my knife skills.
It's obvious that you're also a neat chef. When I look around this kitchen, you're so well organized. I'm
much neater at work than I am at home.
We won't tell anyone.
We won't tell anybody. So I've taken that. I'm just going to basically make what I call, and sure I'm not the only guy using it, a Chipotle ketchup, which is basically a kicked up ketchup. I've got a cup of ketchup to one Chipotle. You want to make this at home? Figure it out at first. Start small and keep adding until you taste it. Just like making cocktail sauce.
Now, do you suggest you do this with every serving, that you don't make up that ketchup in advance?
Ketchup is a wonderful preservative. It's got so much vinegar in there that you can make this up and hold it in the fridge for a week to two at home and just have it. I like spicy. My wife likes spicy. So, I've even gone so far as to open up a jar, make Chipotle ketchup, and put it back in the bottle. And just have it that way in our fridge. My daughter even doesn't mind it. I make it a little less spicy for her. But all I've done there is pretty much incorporated that fairly well. You can use a whisk or a rubber spatula. We make this by the 5 or 6 gallon batch normally at the restaurant because it's a staple on our menu. We offer it with French fries and also with the meatloaf sandwich and the meatloaf burger.
Now I've seen that used as a basting on a meatloaf. Would you do that?
You can. You can. I mean, in the restaurant, we don't do it because I want to give the customer the option. So I don't baste the meatloaf with that because if you don't care for that, then I put it on the side. At home, I would definitely baste the whole meatloaf with this.
And it makes it brown.
It makes it brown, gives it a spicy crust. But I have everyone from 18-year-olds to 75-year-old people here, and we all have different tastes. So I give that an option on the side here at the restaurant. We're going to set this up for later, and we're going to go over and make some collard greens.
Before we get on to the vegetable portion of this menu, I have a question to ask you. You know you have a choice of 80, 85, 90% fat.
85.
85. That's
85.
always been a question. Which one
I
was the
use
best
85. As to why, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. You know, when I write menus for restaurants, I sit there with all the different products. You know, when I did the meatloaf recipe for here, I made it 7 times. And this is just the way I figured it went. And it rolled into the same experiment that I did for the meatballs for the restaurant. I just find the 85 is to be better.
Well, I'm glad to get that from an expert because I've stood there saying which one's going to be the best.
But that's just my opinion, you know, and that, you know, it all depends on what you're looking for health reasons and what you're looking for flavor reasons. I mean, I think
on with that greens.
All right, I'm going to do collard greens, and I am not going to use a ham hog or boil these to death. I like a fresher, crisper collard green. This is something that I kind of took from my wife. She's a vegetarian, and as talk about vogue, but as far as health goes, collard greens, kale, spinach, you know, great dishes for you as far as health-wise. I got boiling water right here. I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt to that boiling water. We're going to set that up for a second, just to add a little flavor, just like you were cooking pasta.
Is this out of the cabbage family, or
it is?
How would you?
No, I mean, I put it of the cabbage family. Really, just got to work on the texture. You know, just like cabbage. You know, raw cabbage is great, boiled cabbage is great. Right in the middle, not so good. And that's what we're going to, try to do today. These have been cleaned. Big old collard green leaf. We're going to stem them. The stem of any vegetable like this, whether it be spinach or kale, or very indigestible and not very tasty either. So I just cut the stems out. I'm going to fold them in half, roll it.
Oh, that's the trick, huh?
Yep. Cut them into long strips, almost like a julienne. You know, simple. Yeah, nothing fancy, just a simple, thin cut. This is more about the presentation, eating with your eyes first kind of thing.
Now, is it the outer leaf or the inner leaf that's the better? How do you judge that? Sometimes
I eat the whole leaf, so I honestly...
No, but in the stock, is it the leaves on the outside or the leaves closer to the center? Or do they grow on? I'm not...
I go, you know, as a restaurateur, I go for a presentation. So I go through it if I'm at the grocery store, and I'm not looking for the inner, I'm looking for a clean, whole leaf that has no holes in it. And I try to buy organic as much as possible.
And a nice green.
A nice, vibrant green, a good texture to rub on as far as a little rubbery almost on the outside, waxy.
How do you keep that green after it's cooked?
Well, you can traditionally if you blanch any green vegetable, hot water to cold water, it'll keep it, but I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to go right into sauteing this.
Right.
So it's not going to be much of a difference. I'm going to take this for my little secret ingredient. It's 3 basil leaves. I'm going to do the same cut. Very thin.
Obviously, fresh spices are the best for you.
I believe so. And I'm just going to save that for the end. I'll kind of show you that at the end. And then I've chopped some garlic here. The old, 2 pop, 1 pop to get the skin off. And then 1 pop.
Why would you not use the roasted garlic in this recipe?
Because I want a fresh bite. I want to taste the garlic in this dish. And the roasted kind of, it's more of a mellow flavor. And to go with this is tangy, some citrus and olive oil and salt to measure it out. But when you taste it later, you'll appreciate the garlic, I think.
I'm looking forward
to that
little
bite. I'm going to take the collard greens. I'm going to come over. I'm going to blanch these for about 2 minutes. I'm looking for them to break down. I'm going to taste it before I pull it out because I want it to be almost like an al dente pasta. I want that bite there for when I go to the saute pan next. Mike, could you just get me paper towels on that? Mike's going there. Could you just grab me like 5 paper towels for that? Thank you. So I'm going to wait for these to break down a little bit.
How long? About 2 minutes?
About 2 minutes. 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. I hate giving times when I write recipes. I try to train the guys who make my food to really know how to see and feel and taste things to know they're done because everything is different. This could be thicker. This has only been about 1 minute. And it's about halfway there. So I think the 2 minutes is going to be solid today.